friend. Today I feel the need to preface this video a little bit with some context. Sometimes when I'm watching ASMR videos, I find myself focusing too heavily on what the ASMR artist is saying, rather than just letting myself melt away into sleep. So to combat this, today I'm just going to be saying a bunch of things that make no sense at all. So you're going to know the words that I'm saying, but they're going to be in weird orders and the sentences aren't going to make any sense. So let's get started. Greetings. Today I believe you are the replacement for the ring light, yes? Okay, good, alright. Well, generally this is just a hobby, but I think it's important to take the time to recover from a designer accident like that, so if you'll just take a seat just south of that rib cage, we can get started here. Yeah, no, don't touch that mechanism. There's no point. I mean, it's exempt from all normal laws of physics, so you might hurt yourself in the mixture. It's quite dull. Be careful. Thank you. So my goal today here is just to deposit some compromising material into the jar, because otherwise, really, what are we here for, you know? The circulation of air in this building is absolutely quintessential to the success of the operation, so make sure that your frame is secured at all times. Thank you. We're going to be taking a bus, but the people behind us will be in a cart. No, I promise they won't mind. We do have, of course, the best outfits of anyone I've ever seen, so, be conscientious of the draft, and keep your bacon. Yeah, keep it close. It's kind of cute, the arena we're in, isn't it? Yeah, I think the cologne is really quite vibrant. So if we can all kind of conglomerate over here in the wind, we can get just about a dozen of us together, and that'll be enough to keep our respect intact. Yeah. Let's keep moving to promote that sort of thing. That's what we like to see all across the horizon. Yeah, it's quite grand, isn't it? Yeah, truly. I know it's quite the maze of elements here, but just one crack would be enough to smoke out the whole place, so, be sure to keep that rack secured against the wall, because otherwise we'll have scripts all over the place. Wouldn't that be a privilege? Now, if I were you, I wouldn't go and talk to that employee. No, they're known for being pretty central around the bar, but they kind of persist on indulging themselves in chocolate oranges, right? So, and as a general note, just stay away from the crew and you'll be okay. There are a couple calories here and there, just scattered around, but as long as you don't get in the way of their row, you'll be fine. Your ego is safe. Inside you'll find a wheel. It should look familiar, but that's just because of the cake batter. Yeah, it's pretty easy to create birds. In general, I think that's pretty fair. So, I don't mean to tease its origin, but the biscuits are pretty rare. Alright, so, if we're talking about capital, you might as well soak the reader. Am I right? Yeah, sometimes you just gotta forge ahead through the snub, okay? Be careful of the buffet. They bite. So, but it's my duty to scatter them all across the world, just like Johnny Appleseed, so I'll do my best to score on the global account. So, if you do have to install anything, make sure you don't cheat the circle. Okay, the circle's rather sensitive, especially about its height. It really wishes it could be an oval, but it's just not at that level or quality yet, so if you're indoors, you gotta endure the basics. So the soap's origin is kind of a mystery. It smells great, but as a general rule, I would be careful. Yeah, the prisoners do get out sometimes, but other than that, I'm sure you'll be okay. Just keep the rules about you. Stay away from the basketball. Make sure you pray. If you're into that. You will be compensated for all your eligibility, so stay fragrant. I would say that's a good rule of thumb. So this evening we will have a reactor on board. Yeah, it's rather decorative. Yeah, it's a pity that it has to be the backup, but I assure you its performance will be absolutely fantastic. Nothing to worry about. Yeah. If you like, you can spend a few nickels and you can feed an eagle, but be be aware people are often disappointed by its flight, so I'll be reading some poetry later. If you care to check that out, there's a man in a Chuck E. Cheese costume. He's just dying to meet you if you want to go. He's not harmful, no, I promise. Just wait in the queue and he'll give you a cucumber. Yep, it's quite great. Those cucumbers are delicious. So you'll get an x-ray. That might make you shake a little bit, but, you don't need to worry about that. You can always pause and try again. If the inspector tries to coerce you into eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just eat it. She won't go away until you do, so just do as she says. She's a little scary sometimes. Yeah, be sure you add silver to the athlete, because if you don't, they get cranky. But don't plan a surgery after 9 p.m., because then someone has to wake up and take you home, and it's just annoying. I'd rather just throw some water at the tone and make it, so you will really flourish if you suppress that talented constellation of yours. Oh, in the back there's a pile of eyebrows. Just say hello, be polite, but there's no need to feed them or anything. No, and don't take pictures of them. Oh, for God's sake, please, no, don't. They will plead and glance at your dignity, but I promise you desire the graph, and you want that. That'll come to your mouth pretty quickly if you just stay on the wheel and you correspond appropriately. So, cooperate with the tower, don't plagiarize, and engineer a crowd vacuum. In general, those are pretty good rules of thumb for simplicity. You'll find a long fiber after your marriage, but it's only polite to breathe in the studio, so if you see a tiger, check out his YouTube channel. He'll appreciate that, and compose him a paragraph, and he'll take that kindly. So you need to put on your clothes. Yep, follow your heart, but explore all your options. Don't feel pressured to be domestic or appear in a paradox. Just because it's under your jurisdiction doesn't mean you have to track revenge all the time. If you can text your preference, there's no need to balance your salvation. You can have it, right? So season your competence and stick to your series. Yeah, well, the high pierce of mystery arena is often a road that not many people are willing to take. If you don't look at your virtue and you find a refund feather, truthfully, what are you doing here, you need some variation in your curl, not bangs, but struggle, okay? It's important to branch out. Maybe skip the center and dip an appendicitis into your beverage. I know that doesn't sound appealing, but I promise to you it is worth it in the end. Take your global hand and build a bridge of discomfort across the lid of the world. That's really the best advice that I can give anybody. The clock? No. That's just applesauce, of course, yeah. You only really hear that in the morning with white chocolate, though. So, the clerk's a nice guy, yeah. He ran into Unity the other day, and I just dug a grave right there. That's true. His wardrobe's a rather rocket, so be careful around the fork. It's kind of basic. You don't want to fall into that paradise trap. Corn. It's important to preach the vessel, I promise every detail will be in the mushroom, alright? Hot dressing sanctuary, okay? Cancel your houseplants. Is your number visible? Can you see that? You gotta be careful, okay? You don't want to migrate to a tropical island, actually. That's not true. If I could take my wagon down to where we thirst, I would totally be down to migrate. Location is litigation. I think that's important, Put your truck on the ferry and have a finger. They're crunchy. Okay? The progressive sector is important for the column, so take a position as a teacher there if you can, Set a good example for all the pupils out there and use your unorthodox method. The board will like that. Put your restaurant in a vat. It's quirky. Your enemy's not that important. Let him go. Is there a ghostwriter in the audience? Any sodium, smoke, piano? No one? Okay, yeah, I'm looking for some fur if you find any. I'm going to make a school uniform out of it, if that's possible. Just my admiration for the whole culture around it is really, it's important, So, take your tater tots and clear your credit card. Do it. the magnitude of the dent that left there, it's impossible to generate this much weight with such a runner. Because, I mean, if you keep sweeping, you'll just minimize the effect of the piece. So, don't you dare wage war. It's a dangerous game. And if interference, that's illegal. So, if you want a ribbon, be decisive and mutation feast. Okay, so your behavior is a great insight to the sweat that you sweat when you abandon your quiet children. That was a roller coaster. Be sure to revise your most hilarious jokes. They can only get better with Ring. The observations you make about polite people are true. And in the night, invest. I would say invest in Bitcoin, but I think Ethereum's probably a safer bet. So, if you're available, take the scholarship and all over your joints. You don't need to scream about a wreck, it's just a proposition, so, drum on it, If you need a coin or a dairy, just fill my tank with oil. So, sand and curve aren't really the best fuels, but you can take a helmet and run into a wall pretty safely, that's all I'm saying. And if there's a difference between bald and legislation, you better head for the shelter, I don't mean to dismiss you, but to ensure your most uninterrupted unrest, it's important that I mistreat the dead. I don't know if I can put that in the video. There's a bomb under a rare, mature goat. He doesn't mind, it's okay. He's very wise and very smart, so as long as he's sticky, he is always available for a particle. More importantly, you need to foster some marble. Just spin around, hover, and envision a version of yourself that you really want to become. Whether you be dribbling or frozen, there's no border to the places that you can go. Just join a committee, panic, work. That's pretty much life. You don't need direction for your pressure, it just needs a dozen. And where there's a cathedral, there's wine. So, make sure you do some manual computer labor. Coins are too mainstream, so go with Grimace. Because who needs all that hullabaloo anyways, If you just bear down, you can get it done, there's nothing more to do, honest to God, So follow the pattern and make a referral to your favorite whip. Absence is alarming. Take a taxi. If I had to copy the software for reference, I'd probably be pretty confused too. Honest to God, who really knows what's going on in those scaled cell sessions, It's important to be conscious of your desires in order to achieve happiness, so looting and torching and even the church can be somewhat formidable at times. Your resolution to the capital is something that you must undertake wholeheartedly, so don't retreat when the professional ancestors get going. Only when the suffering begins will the young get kidnapped. Lastly, decline amber. It's not a safe bet. It's not a good investment, so keep drawing and advertising. This has been a crazy video. It's a little faster paced, but I hope you all enjoy it, and I hope you're nice and relaxed after all those fun words I strung together for you guys. Okay, friends, go and get some rest. I'll see you in the next video. Good night, friends.